A BBC investigation has found that thousands of London minicab drivers may be working fraudulently after buying qualifications. The regulations state that in order to obtain a licence, prospective drivers must sit mandatory exams, but a BBC undercover investigation has exposed colleges cheating the system. Along with the application process, criminal record checks and medical tests, drivers must sit a topographical exam and an English test at one of 8 official TfL testing centres. Evidence of these exams can also be accepted via other qualifications, including BTECs, which are usually taken at private colleges and centres. And this is where the trouble has been brewing. And it's not just confined to London. The qualification can be used to gain a minicab licence from many councils across the UK. One of these colleges, Vista Training Solutions in Newham, offered to take the test for several BBC researchers for £500 per BTEC. At a mandatory English and Maths assessment, answers were read out to 8 candidates taking the BTEC fraudulently. Registers were falsified before the online BTEC exam was taken by managers on the candidates' behalf. The researcher, who had neither attended any of the classes nor completed an exam, received a BTEC Level 2 certificate in Introduction to the Role of the Professional Taxi and Private Hire Driver. Another undercover BBC researcher, who had done nothing other than pay, subsequently received a certificate stating that he had passed the BTEC Level 2. Vista was one of several centres the BBC heard was facilitating fraudulently obtained qualifications.
You have boys come in, take tests.
No test.
And
so I do the test for you.
Okay.
That's why you're paying £500. We've done over 300 students. But don't go telling people.
No, I don't.
Someone does the test for you.
During undercover filming, Gertie Kwamili, a college manager, bragged he had personally helped over 300 students fraudulently achieve the qualification. The scam has been completely successful, winning licences from TfL for more than 2 years, Mr. Kwamili said. He warned the researchers not to tell anyone that someone does the test for you. However, this is what Mr. Kwamili had to say when he was challenged by undercover investigator Guy Lynn.
Hi there, Mr. Camilli. Can you tell me why you've been arranging qualifications for cash?
Not me, mate.
You've been arranging qualifications for cash. We've got you secretly recorded doing it. Why have you been doing it?
Not me.
It's not you?
No.
So who is it then we've got secretly recorded?
Not me.
He keeps telling us it's not him.
How many hundreds of people have you done this for?
None.
We've got you secretly recorded, Mr. Camilli. So who is it then that's been...
Construction, not me.
Yeah. Are you aware, Mr. Camilli, that what you're doing is a fraud and a crime?
Not me.
In light of the evidence, Transport for London has said it would immediately investigate at least 1,667 applications. But haven't we heard all this before? In 2015, TfL were found to be totally inadequate as a licensing authority by a GLA transport investigation, who added that they were deeply concerned by their findings. Then in June 2015, a Guardian expose demonstrated that a driver was able to pick up a paying customer having provided fake insurance paperwork via his computerised system. The whistleblower's fear was that breaches in the technology could put customers' safety at risk. The Guardian worked with a whistleblower who wanted to test Uber's system after hearing that other drivers may be trying to find loopholes to cut costs. Insurance premiums for new drivers in the UK can cost up to £4,000. He uploaded an entirely fabricated insurance policy under the logo of a made-up insurance company called Free Cover, and Uber approved him to pick up customers.
It's impossible to tell how widespread this is, but we wanted to see if Uber's system could be cheated. So we invented a fake insurance company called Free Cover. We wanted to know if Uber would accept bogus paperwork and allow a driver to pick up paying customers.
We're actually going to upload that onto the Uber platform.
Moeen is a fully licensed and insured minicab driver concerned about loopholes in Uber's system. He has never done this himself before, but he has agreed to help The Guardian test claims drivers can work, having uploaded fake insurance papers.
What to work? We'll just go into vehicles, we scroll up, and there we go.
What do you feel about the fact they've authorised it?
Flabbergasted that this has actually happened.
I've opened up my customer app and I'm going to see if as a genuine paying Uber customer I can call this driver with bogus insurance lodged with the company.
We've got a job coming in, so I'm actually going to accept this job. which now have arrived to it.
Well, amazingly and very worryingly, that worked. I'm now a paying customer, a paying Uber customer in this taxi, and we know that it's running on a faked insurance document with a fake letterhead and bogus dates for the insurance.
It doesn't stop there. The following year, an exclusive LBC investigation into illegal minicab drivers operating in London was cited in the House of Commons. It appeared during the introduction of the Taxi and Private Hire Vehicle Operations and Regulation Bill. Theo Usherwood, LBC's political editor, who carried out the investigation, managed to secure a private hire vehicle licence with ease from a TfL testing centre using someone else's car, logbook, MOT and without proper insurance. Here is TfL's Peter Blake, who is no longer with the company, trying to blame everyone except their own flawed licensing system.
What I would like to say is essentially what you've done is highlighted an issue that relates to drivers, vehicles and operators being licensed separately, which is the current legal requirements that we go through. What your reporter has done has attempted an illegal activity. So he's taken a vehicle, he's put it on the side of the road, and people have walked up and attempted to get in. Mm-hmm. And had he undertaken that journey, it would have been a criminal offence.
Mm-hmm. But it's only the paperwork that your agency didn't pick up that got him in that position.
No, if you let me finish, this is quite important. It would have been a criminal offence had the driver been licensed and had that vehicle had high reward insurance. It still would have been a criminal offence. So,
but why wasn't it stopped at the Heston, at whatever that agency is called? Why wasn't he rumbled there?
Well, the reason it's a criminal offence.
No. Can we come back to my? We'll take your point in a minute. But why wasn't he stopped? Why was he even in a position to park up by the bank?
Well, he was in a position because the legislation licenses operators, drivers, and vehicles separately. However, for the booking to be legal, then a member of the general public, the people that you chatted to in your interview, they need to approach a registered private hire operator. They need to book in advance. The vehicle and the driver then need to be licensed by TfL. If any of those links aren't in place, then it is a legal activity.
Okay, right. I hear you. What about the fact that your agency TfL allowed him to have this medallion, effectively?
Well, the Transport for London have applied the legislation as it exists.
So anybody can turn up with the wrong logbook, the wrong document, with a car that's been loaned to them, and they'll all walk out with these medallions, will they?
Well, I think I'm not sure that the suggestion was it was the wrong logbook. It was a logbook for the vehicle.
Sorry, yeah.
What I heard. And the insurance.
But not in his name. Not in his name, and no insurance. What the hell is going on up at Heston?
The insurance would have been in place. It would not have been high reward insurance.
Yes.
High reward insurance would have been the insurance that's required to transport.
Are you not going to accept that this has been a failure in your systems? I appreciate your pointing the finger at the fact that it was an illegal act. That's why, as I'm sure you listened carefully, we didn't drive anybody anywhere. They all got in a licensed black taxi and were taken home. Hopefully we paid the fare, I've no idea. So let's come back to the genesis of the story, the ease with which Theo Usherwood breezed past your agency. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I don't think anybody breezed past the agency, Nick. If there is a willful attempt to try and break the law or to demonstrate that the law can be broken, then no amount of regulation can resolve that.
So you can't solve Mr. Usherwood arriving. So you can't solve Mr. Usherwood arriving at one of your test centres, I think at Heston, with someone else's car, someone else's logbook, someone else's MOT, no proper insurance, and you're telling me LBC is to blame here?
No, I'm not saying anyone's to blame.
So what are you going to do about this?
So what I'm trying to do is to explain the process that exists at the moment. What you also are aware of is that we regularly try and talk to members of the public through our Safer Travel at Night campaign, Cabwise campaign.
No. Okay, that's all very valid. Let's try again. What are you going to do about the ease with which Mr. Usherwood arrived with someone else's car, someone else's logbook, someone else's MOT, and no proper insurance, and just was eased through and given that yellow sticker?
It wasn't. It wasn't no proper insurance, was it? There was insurance on the vehicle.
Well, not suitable to give him the yellow sticker.
No, sorry, not suitable to transport people, which goes back to my point around the current legislation. I mean,
So I could come up then, could I, this afternoon and get a yellow sticker and not pay the congestion charge? Because my insurance obviously covers me not for hire and reward.
Well, no, in terms of congestion charge, as you're aware,
So I can come up this afternoon if I can get an appointment. So every Londoner, everybody who ever comes in the city, as long as they've got insurance, not hire and reward, they can all have one of these yellow stickers.
We have compliance and enforcement officers out on the ground.
No, mind that. Let's go to Heston. I arrive with my own car, my own logbook, my own MOT, and my own insurance, regular insurance, non-hire, and I'll get a yellow sticker.
If it meets the requirements laid down...
Well, what's the point of this, then? What's the point of the yellow stickers? Everybody can get one.
Well, because the issue is that you can only pre-book a
No, never mind that. It's a great way of me saving £11.50 every day, isn't it?
No, what I was trying to say when I was mentioning compliance and enforcement officers was that we regularly do spot checks.
But why don't you do the checks at the other end of the process? Why don't you stop them getting on the street by asking to actually check that the name, the logbook, tallies with the logbook and the insurance and everything else?
But you just said that the logbook was a valid logbook.
Yeah.
And the insurance was in place.
But not in his name.
The vehicle was legally able to go on the road. I think your report made clear that he took a document that demonstrated he had authorization to take the vehicle forward. So the vehicle was appropriately licensed. What we have to get across...
I am staggered that instead of saying, whoops, we've got a problem, we need to look into this, you are seeking respectfully to wriggle through this by saying, oh, it did have insurance. I know it had insurance, but not insurance to drive people around. And you're giving out medallions or stickers or whatever you want to call them to people clearly who just have to pay the congestion charge. What a con!
In October of the same year, road GPs were found to be coining it in from potential minicab and Uber drivers by lying on vital forms about their fitness to carry passengers. 3 doctors caught by the Sun newspaper were happy to sell fake medicals required to get an official minicab licence. The GPs were meant to have performed thorough checkups but did not bother with any tests at all, which horrified the General Medical Council.
Very busy, huh? Busy surgery, this.
Yeah, not bad. We like it busy.
Yeah. Is it yours? Are you one of the partners?
Yeah, it's mine and my sister's.
Oh.
Sign it. Thanks. Thank you. I'm going to bother you with that. They won't give you any problems with that.
Sorry?
They won't give you any problems with that either.
Okay.
That's it. That's £50, please.
Thank you. One, 20, 30, 40, 50. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Welcome.
The same investigation also highlighted that tests to check potential drivers know English and can read road signs were also being rigged. Z-Car Z Minicabs in Surbiton was one of more than 100 accredited centres across the capital that conducted the rudimentary topographical tests. Owner Z Janija filled in answers for drivers at his computer and printed certificates off, giving them an official public carriage office stamp. He told the undercover reporter, "The test is nothing, don't worry, I'm going to do all the paperwork for you." At another minicab firm, the Sun investigator was handed the answers by the examiner for £80. The charge to similarly cheat at new Apollo minicabs in East Ham was £100.
okay? And juice ऐसे पाना, okay?
हाँ
1 minute.
अच्छा
Okay, ऐसे, alright? मुझे शुरू हो जाओ.
अच्छा
पहले पेट को, मैं बैठे रखो.
हाँ
Okay, ऐसे रखो. तो उन्होंने शुरू कर दिया.
कर दे
Alright?
ओके
खत्म हो जाएगा ना? Yeah, let me check it.
A to Z पढ़ लेंगे ना, यूज करनी A to Z में है।
हाँ चलो
ये नहीं आंदे में 10 दिन, फिर मैं आपको बुला देना सर। You can do it by yourself, which are 50 pound, ठीक है ना?
नहीं हेल्प कर पैसे लगे
चल फिर भी बुक जरिए ना पैसे शो खोलना। This one
4F5
right down there please
4F5 ਇੱਥੇ
A4
A4
yeah M4
A4 M4
M5
M5
A30
A30
yeah
30
Westminster Station
Westminster.
The scams are never ending. In September 2017, it was revealed that TfL told Uber drivers that they must apply for new criminal record checks. Hang on a minute, isn't TfL the one who should ultimately be doing the checking? The regulators wrote to over 13,000 minicab drivers telling them that their background checks were no longer valid. All would-be minicab drivers in London must be checked against information held by the Disclosure and Barring Service, a government agency that seeks out criminal records, unsuitability to work with children, or police warnings. Everyone must submit a DBS certificate unless they hold refugee status. However, TfL were accepting certificates from third-party providers that were not from the recommended companies. They once again responded saying, after a recent review of policy, it would no longer accept checks from OnFido or any other third-party provider, but its own contractor. TfL declined to describe its concerns about OnFido and other providers. Whilst it might be easy to blame these companies for taking advantage of opportunities, it is ultimately up to TfL to review the application and decide who is granted a licence. 2017 proved to be a very bad year for TfL as police accused Uber, the company that has been granted an extended period in order to prove themselves, of failing to report crimes on passengers, with figures showing sex attack claims involving their drivers have increased by 50% over a period of just 1 year. The Sunday Times reported officers were concerned that US company was allowing situations to develop that clearly affect the safety and security of the public. At the same time, TfL was forced to reveal a man who worked for Uber had been arrested and charged with a terror-related incident near to Buckingham Palace. Mohsinath Chowdhury allegedly attacked 3 police officers with a samurai sword. It wasn't the first time either. In December 2015, a former Uber driver, Mohsinath Maya, tried to behead a stranger at Leytonstone tube station. Mohsinath Maya happened to be suffering from multiple personality disorder, and if that is the case, how the hell did he manage to gain a licence from TfL in the first place?
A knife in his hand, Mohsinath Maya lashes out at commuters desperately trying to pacify him.
No! You go! Stay this man! Stay! Hey!
The 30-year-old had a history of mental illness. His GP had referred him to specialists the previous month because of his paranoid delusions of being tailed by MI5.
Be careful!
Take him. Didn't work.
Our own investigation this year proved that none of these issues have been resolved by TfL. 7 of us intercepted the Uber app under the guise of one account, and at no time were any of us asked for verification, and at no point were any of these accounts queried. Some of you may be watching this and asking, why are these requirements even important? Well, the primary purpose of regulation is to ensure public safety, isn't it? And on October the 31st, there were no less than 3 accidents reported involving private hire drivers. These weren't just token collisions, but accidents on such a scale they could only be described as catastrophic. Why does it take investigative journalism for TfL to respond to a transgression in regulations? Why are they not responding to the hellish amount of accidents that are reported almost on a daily basis? It goes without saying that I am disgusted by TfL's dereliction of a duty of care to protect not only the travelling public, but also its drivers. I'm also disgusted at the GLA for deprioritising the enormity of these accidents. I'm disgusted at the Mayor for deflecting responsibility to the Department of Transport, who I am equally as disgusted with. In less than 3 weeks' time, TfL will be deciding on whether or not to grant Uber a licence. Regardless of how many plasters they are willing to put over the wounds, TfL isn't willing to change anything that would improve the safety on our streets. The barrier to entry remains at an elementary level, and as long as incomes remain below the minimum wage, you will always get opportunists try to shirk the system. TfL know this, but choose to look on and do nothing. Caroline Pigeon is on the record as saying that TfL need to get a grip, but evidently it is either beyond their control or they don't intend to. And if that is the case, what is the GLA, what is the LTDA, what is the Department of Transport, and what is the Mayor of London going to do about it? All the time they sit on their hands, then Vision Zero remains a complete and utter joke.
The licensing authority, it needs to make sure that they are rigorous in every check they carry out on every driver in London, because passengers are getting into those vehicles and they need to know that they are safe. And to hear that parts of that are being forged around London, that is not right. That is really worrying. And TfL need to get a grip on this. They need to sort out their processes and make sure these rogue drivers are taken out of the licence system.
You found London Taxi Radio, the station for London's taxi drivers.